Welcome to another live stream watch-along reaction. Tonight we're watching and reacting to CSD Xelajú MC, CF Monterrey, CONCACAF Champions Cup 2026, Round 1, Leg 1, Xelajú Monterrey, our second match day. And after tonight, the first match week's already over. 5 games in 2 days. 3 that I covered. Of course, I watched the other 2 as I was uploading the video and all that. But 3 games yesterday. America beat Olimpia 2-1. Forge, of course, drew 0-0. San Diego beat the hell out of Pumas 4-1. That was a bit shocking, the scoreline itself. San Diego winning. It was a pick'em. I'm not mad about getting that tie wrong. It's a pick'em. San Diego might still have it. That second half was absolutely dominant by San Diego, but either way. Xelajú Monterrey, and then we got Vancouver FC Cruz Azul, and I'm lazy today, so you're getting the black Canada jersey because Vancouver's Canadian and they wear black. At least Vancouver's CPL. So, it is what it is besides. That's the one I'm reviewing, so you're lazy. I'm lazy. You get this all night. CSD Xelajú MC contra CF Monterrey, la Copa Campeones de la CONCACAF, primera ronda, partido ida. 3 partidos. Previo noche. Forge 0-0 Tigres. América ganador 2-1 Olimpia. San Diego 4-1 ganador contra Pumas. Pumas is going to get a lot of shit for that one. With that being said, here we go. Here we go. Starting 11s are as follows for Xelajú. In goal, we have Dario Silva. The back 4 of Javier Gonzalez, Manuel Romero. We have Kevin Ruiz and Derrickson Quiros. The midfield 4 of Raul Calderon. We have Juan Cardona. We have Jose Longo. Yolton Diaz. And the front 2 of Antonio Lopez and Steven Cardenas. Xelajú, of course, finished as the runners-up of the Central American Cup, losing on penalties to Alajuelense. That's why they're playing in this tie. Made the final and were the runners-up. Monterrey. Big rotations for Monterrey tonight, as Dominic Torrent said. Is that going to hurt them? They can't get embarrassed as bad as Pumas, can't they? With that being said, in goal, we have Santiago Mele, the back 4 of Eric Aguirre. We have John Medina. We have Cesar Bustos and Luis Reyes. The midfield 2 of Jorge Rodriguez and Alan Rojas. The midfield attacking 3 of Luca Orellano. He's pretty damn good, no matter what. He's still a gnat. Iker Fimbres and Lucas Ocampos. And up top, Joaquin Mojica. So there you go. There's starting 11s for this match and our first of 2 live streams tonight. We'll review the Vancouver Cruz Azul game once it's over. And we're off till Saturday night because there's no games tomorrow. And there's no games Friday. And we have the Super Bowl prediction on Saturday and then the Super Bowl review on Sunday. I have a Super Bowl party, so I'm not going live for the Super Bowl. I'm just reviewing it. But that's the way it's always been if you've looked in the past. Teams are walking out. Monterrey wearing white. Xelajú wearing red and blue. How we doing, Dillon? How we doing? How we doing? Welcome to the show. And yes, I will look at the Olympic hockey schedule. I will do my own streams. I don't know about every Canada game, but we'll see. Definitely knockout rounds. There might be some doubles in there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And, oh, Nashville's going with the center crest. Do you think Obed Vargas is a good signing for Atletico Madrid? Yeah, I do. I think he's a very good player. He should be good for Atletico. He's good in the midfield. I think he has a chance to be a starter. For me, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I think they're going to do there. 1-1 versus the Jets, tied 1-1. Hey, it is what it is. I can't believe the Leafs went 3-0 on their Western road trip. At this point, you know what? And from what I'm hearing about Gavin McKenna, you know what? I hope the Leafs don't tank now. I don't know what the hell I believe anymore. Let's just try to make the playoffs. I know damn well at this point what's going to happen. The Leafs won't sell because they beat the Edmonton Oilers and they won 3 straight. They're going to go on a run and miss the playoffs by a point, which, you know what, fair enough. We haven't had one of those seasons in a long time. So either way, there might still be Leafs games in the spring for me to do. There's still a possibility. I don't know. I couldn't even watch it because I was watching a third-party stream and it conked out around that time. I got it for the finish of the Rumble, but the point is, ESPN, you could go, I don't know. I'll leave that one alone. ESPN Unlimited is a horrible idea. Silva in goal for Xelajú. Longo, Ruiz, Romero, Gonzalez, Cardona, Quiros, Diaz, Lopez, Calderon, Cardenas, the striker. Yeah, I'm fine with it. He named himself after his kid, or part of his new name is after his kid or something. I'm fine with it, you know. I'm fine with it. Oh, look, it's However Dude being the center ref. Dujic, the center ref for this game. However, he's actually a pretty good ref, weirdly enough. It was Saudi Arabia. What do you think's going to happen? With Saudi Arabia, what the hell did you think was going to happen? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Let's go, Rados, brother. Day 2, boys, of Champs Cup. Honestly, I have no dog in this fight, and I pick Rados to win the tie. Benjamin Whitty, the VAR referee. So, I have no dog in this fight. So, it is what it is. Starting 11, Melee. Of course, Monterrey rotated pretty heavily. Medina, Bustos, Aguirre. Medina, one of their most normal players in this 11. Reyes, Rodriguez, Rojas, Fimbres as well. Acampos, Mojica, Orellano. Mostly rotations here. Easy win for Rayados. You say that, but over 2 legs, yes. Tonight, it is in Central America. It is in Guatemala. So, Orellano arrived very well. Well, I'm not surprised about that. Luca Orellano is a very good player. Like, I don't say, like, when I say they rotated the squad, I don't say that to take a shot at anybody, especially not Orellano. He's a very good player. The dude is a pest. And I say that very nicely. I say that positively. Orellano plays like a pest. The dude is a gnat. The dude just buzzes around. Like, it's watching him play in Cincinnati, like, it sucks for them they got rid of him. You know, it's good for Monterrey they got him, but I feel like he could have went to Europe the way he plays. I'm surprised he's in Mexico. I feel like that's a sideways move. I mean, not to Monterrey itself, but for what I thought he could have been, going to Liga MX out of MLS was sort of like, okay, that's okay. We'll see what happens there, and we're off. 0-0, 0-0. I mean, so I think Monterrey got a good one. Now the question is, does Monterrey start winning the big games? Like, I mean, of course they're good, but you know, like finals, and they've had their affliction of choking in the past 4 years, ever since Tano took over, and then of course he left, and then was there anybody between Dome? The past couple of managers, like since Tano, they've all choked. It's all just been choking. Timo Werner, San Jose got a good one. Okay, all right. Really? I mean, for San Jose's sake, yeah, that's a pretty good signing. Like, I could see Timo Werner being, well, he was a flop everywhere else but Leipzig. I had to watch him play for Chelsea. That was the most painful. Like, if Toronto went for him, I'd be angry. We need a striker, and if they pick Timo Werner, I guess Sargent isn't that bad after all. This new Forge keeper, damn, he was really good. Big up Dillon, Forge keeper's class. I went to sleep at San Diego, was losing 1-0 at the 60th minute. I got up this morning to see San Diego won 4-1. It was 4-1. I was watching the game, and San Diego got, I wouldn't say dominated the first half, but Pumas was the better team. The second half, San Diego just threw everything at the goal, and Pumas absolutely collapsed. Like, 2-1 would have been like, okay, yeah, San Diego was better in the second half, and they threw everything at the goal. Header and save by the keeper, that'll be a goal kick. I don't know why he let it drop, but okay, do with that what you will. Pumas collapsed in that last half. I was like, damn. I was like, damn. Like, San Diego was better in the second half, but oh my. And this is why Pumas takes a lot of shit. They do shit like that. Xelaju's been in CONCACAF 7 times, 6 wins, 7 draws, 8 losses in 7 appearances. Okay. We just got Uros Dudovic Juka from Atlas. I think he's a great 9, no frills sufficient 9, not playing today though. Well, they just got him and they got to sign him up, or register him. But I mean, that's a good Bertarame replacement for sure. Yesterday was Peak Champs Cup, even Olympia versus Club America. Olympia player scored a worldie, and then they choked in the last 3 minutes. And then Olympia choked in the last 3 minutes. And you could argue that Olympia at times were the better team. They were at home, to be clear. But arguably they were the better team. Like, America didn't even play that well. That game should have been a draw, in my opinion, if not an Olympia win. I think Olympia got robbed a little bit. San Diego killed Pumas, though. San Diego might just be fine. The upcoming MLS season is looking more and more interesting. Yeah, and then Miami still wins. You know, the last thing MLS season needs to be completely interesting is a certain team that wears red should call the Pirate. That would make it even more interesting because then you don't know if Miami's going to win MLS Cup. Because I don't think the Pirate will let them. The Pirate will find a way to make sure Miami doesn't win MLS Cup. And somehow Toronto goes from being one of the worst teams to one of the best. Like that. Patriots and Blue Jays style. Yes. Patriots and Blue Jays style. Yes. Because if you watch the Patriots and the Blue Jays over the past year, nobody expected one of them to go to the World Series and nobody expected the other to go to the Super Bowl. And one could still win the Super Bowl. They were shit a year before, and then they go to the freaking World Series and Super Bowl. So it can happen. It can happen. Either one. Man, TFC missing out. Again, called a Pirate. But they are, you're right. Don't ever trust Pumas. Yeah. Cross in, blocked away, out of boots. Corner, out of boots for a corner. Let's get that striker already. Oh, Toronto has to raise their price to get Sargent. Six minutes in. Luca Oriano for the corner. Oh, that's smart. I think he took a couple for Cincinnati. San Diego rules. Well, right now it looks like they do. Ball crossed in. Header off the crossbar. Oh, no. Off the crossbar. Back to Melee. Holy mackerel. Monterrey, 714. There's no way. You mean, how the hell? Nah, that's crazy. That's got to be like 714 matches. That still doesn't make any sense. CONCACAF hadn't even been around for 714 years. There's not enough games for them to even have 714 wins. Now, of course, Monterrey's won a lot of Champions Leagues. In the Champions League. Synthetic grass in Guatemala. That's crazy. Yeah. Tomasz Bolczek is leading the Polish Ekstraklasa in goals and is a good age, mid-20s. If only the scouts knew what they were doing. See, that's the problem with Toronto FC. The scouts don't know what they're doing. Now, well, I can't even take shots at them. I mean, I have a long list in my head of players from the Central American Cup and Caribbean Cup and all that would do good in Toronto from like cost-effective look at things, especially if the cap is kept. But would I? Well, let's look at the Ekstraklasa or whatever. I would have missed him too, so I can't take a shot, but at least, you know, I can only watch so much as one man. I can only watch so much. And my sphere of influence is CONCACAF, CONMEBOL, and Asia. More times than not. Well, and Morocco. But there's no way in hell Toronto could sign En-Nesyri or El Kaabi. Would I take it, though? Like, if Toronto FC could sign Ayoub El Kaabi, would I take that hands down? You're damn right I would. Well, I don't know about pressing, but I mean, if swashbuckling football kind of got built up from watching Morocco play in 2022, it would work. He might not press as hard as I would want, but that's what Malik Henry's for. That's what Malik Henry would be for, is pressing. Yeah, I think they finally broke him. Caulfield almost scored. True. Even when our academy players get called up to U17s or whatever, they still don't get played. Wow. Is that part of the problem? Well, at least Jamaica has 2 TFC Academy players on their roster. I saw that. And if they're anywhere near good, they won't even play much for the main team because that's how this damn thing rolls. As of now. But that's another problem that needs to be taken care of. First one I remember seeing was Toronto versus Puerto Rico Islanders. That was not a fun way to start. Yeah, that Toronto-Puerto Rico Islanders series was the first one I saw, or the first 2 that I saw. Yeah, that wasn't a good way to start because Toronto lost that series. That was the first one I remember watching. Blocked out. I think, funnily enough, I might have watched a Superliga game before I ever watched a CONCACAF Champions Cup game. Because back then you had to go out of your way for Champions Cup. And shit, I didn't even know Champions Cup existed. Champions League at the time. I didn't really even know it existed until Toronto made it. Again, I got into football with the World Cup because with knowing Toronto was going to be a thing. And I knew the UEFA Champions League was a thing. I probably should have figured that every confederation had one, but again, it was hard to find. And then I knew Toronto was in it. I'm like, I have to watch this, and I did. But I think I saw a Superliga game because those were on ESPN at the time. So I think I saw a Superliga game first. It was probably, I think, the Galaxy, which makes sense. But either way, running across it, it's kind of like that time I watched Viking. Like the batshit pirate ship Sasuke, if you remember, made by the same guy. That's why. If you remember the show Viking, the Ultimate Obstacle Course, it was another one of those Japanese obstacle course shows. And if you've watched Sasuke, you'll notice that they're the same people from like that era, like Nagano, Akiyama, Yamada, Ikatani. Ken Kusugi never didn't he? I don't think so. Either way. The difference was Viking was a more batshit pirate ship themed Sasuke. And it was on a different, I think, Fuji TV instead of TBS, Tokyo Broadcasting System. Still Monster 9 show, though. So, technically, Inui has the rights to Viking. My point is, you brought back Kunoichi, you brought back Sasuke, you brought back Sportsman as Spodon. You make new shows like, whatever, in the Sasuke family. Bring back Viking. I know it's not as bad shit as it used to be, because Sasuke's pretty bad shit, obstacle-wise. Like, if you looked at the Sasuke, like, 16 course versus Viking, be like, yeah, that's bad shit. Now it's like, you could argue that Sasuke's just as crazy, but either way. That's neither here nor there. 0-0, 14 minutes. I read that. I read your comment. Dude, I'm older than you. Let's remember when Toronto played Puerto Rico, I was 8. That was 2008. Wait. It was 08-09, yeah? I was 8. You couldn't even have been. If I remember correctly, I'm older than you. Back then, it was hard to find, especially in North America. Champions Cup was. It was 08-09. It was either 09-10, 08. It was 09-10. Either way. Those double year ones always mess with me. 09-10. It was 2009. I was 9 years old when Toronto played Puerto Rico Islanders. There we go. I was 9 years old. Back then, a lot of this shit was hard to find. 0-0. To be clear, especially in North America, July 28th to 30th. There we go. July 29th, the 1-0 loss in Toronto against Puerto Rico Islanders. And then the 0-0 draw in Puerto Rico. Which, funnily enough, that second leg, a Trinidadian referee refed that game. With 6,000 people there. August 4th, 2009. That was painful. Two-one. Well, no, because Toronto's not in the Champions Cup, so not everything's right in the world. Nil, settle. Not everything's right in the world. Ay. My point. Yeah, I'm 6 years older than you, okay. I'm an unk. $18 minutes saved. Dude, before you know it, I'm going to be 30. Like, after June, what will be a correct statement, or after July, what will be a correct statement, depending on how you look at it? The next time there's a World Cup, a men's World Cup, a men's national team World Cup, I will be 30 years old. After July, that will be a true statement. For now, it's not. For the next 6 months or 5 months or whatever, I will still be 26 when the next men's national team World Cup is played. But after July, after that final ball is kicked, that final whistle's blown, what will be a true statement is the next time there's a men's national team World Cup, I will be 30 years old. If I ain't a unk now, I sure will be then. 19th minute. Now, of course, there's a women's World Cup when I'm 27, so that's why I make the delineation. There's going to be a club World Cup when I'm 29, so that's why I make the delineation. There's always the U17 and U20 and whatever the fuck World Cups. Every year at this, it seems like every year at this point. Euros when I'm 28, Gold Cup when I'm 27, Gold Cup when I'm 29, Copa America when I'm 28. AFCON next year as well. So when I'm 27, so more AFCON there as well. Asian Cup, 27? Yeah. Lane Hudson, oh my God, what a goal. Incredible, what a play. This team's mental. How fortunate to sign a Ligue keeper and a DR Congo #1 keeper. God only knows, but I'm glad they did. I mean, he was a free agent for 6 months before he signed for Forge. That probably has something to do with it. I just hope it's nobody wanted him besides, and Forge basically was like, oh, nobody wants a #1 keeper from Ligue 1 in Congo? Huh. We're going to Champions Cup. We need a new keeper. Shoot or shoot. That's what I hope it is. I hope it's no other bullshit. Because God only, it's too good to be true. Something's going to pop up and be like, oh, so that's why he didn't get signed for 6 months. And Forge is going to be destroyed because of it. I can't help but think. Another shoe's going to drop. I can't help but think. Because you saw that he was a free agent for 6 months. How good he is? Like, he's way too good for the CPL. Some shoe's going to drop. There's going to be something. I can't help but think there's going to be something that makes us realize, or it's going to show that, yeah, this is why he didn't get signed. And I hope that it's more like a failed physical from like some other clubs where it's like, yeah, we could have signed that guy, but he failed his physical because he has a bum ankle or some shit, not some other type of shit where it can be so much worse. Like, Ford didn't give a fuck about the... I'm not saying that is what it is. I'm just speculating. Like, some shoe's gonna drop. Like, there's no fucking one. Like, I love the CPL, but come on now. Nobody... Come on now. Come on now. I love the CPL, but come on now. That's a little bit... Never mind, just developing the future, just Chevy feeding his veterans fetish. This is what you get, fucking asshole. I can't even laugh. I mean, I shouldn't, but, you know, I can't even be like, I know how you feel. The Leafs have their problems too. And turns out that Brad Treliving's just as worse, if not worse. I'm not going to scream. Brad Treliving is horrible. I could see why he's the fail son of the Boston Pizza owner. What? The only thing Brad Treliving could run without destroying it is a Boston Pizza. I don't know. I don't know who I'd rather have, but maybe Kyle Dubas wasn't the problem. Maybe Mitch Marner wasn't the problem. Maybe, hell, even Shanahan, maybe he wasn't even the problem. Maybe, well, shit, I guess Shanahan was the problem, but, you know, yeah, still, I don't know. Honestly, I agree. I told you it'd be kind of tough. It could be tougher than you think. I don't know. No way is he a worse GM. Are you not paying attention? Like, Treliving destroyed both the Flames and the Leafs. I mean, yeah, Kachuk won it out, and I get it. and he got rid of Gaudreau and all that, and then I don't even know what I want anymore with the Leafs. Like, the Leafs go on a 3-game winning streak. I'm like, and Gavin McKenna might have gotten a bar fight at Penn State. Now I don't want the Leafs to tank. Brad still needs to make moves. Headed away by Xelajú. 4 days ago, I wanted him to blow it up. I don't know what I want anymore. Monterrey is washed, can't score versus a Guatemalan team or Honduran. It's Guatemalan. I have no clue. Xelajú made the final. How do you not know they were a Guatemalan team? 0-0. By the way, but in Monterrey's defense, they rotated heavily because they had to, except for Oriano. And it looks like Oriano is pretty much the only bright spot Monterrey has. Yeah, you're lucky. You have a good front office. I've never seen a good Leafs front office. Even when you think you have one, there's a meddling jackass at the top who has all the power and tells the GM what he can and can't do. Who turns out that GM is actually good. And you blame the GM when he gets fired, and turns out 2 years later he's just fine. It's the guy pulling his strings. And turns out the guy pulling his strings is still probably better than your current GM. And now it makes you wonder, was Shanny protecting Treliving from himself, but also making Dubas look worse in comparison? Makes you wonder. I don't know. Then again, the Leafs and Jets are more alike than you think. At least in the past, 10-some years? We're both pissed off because our team shouldn't suck with the players that it has, but, well, I wouldn't say your whole team's built off reclamation projects, but then again, what the hell would you call Matthias Michelli? Oh, and the time they tried to get Sammy Blais. And then that didn't work. Oh, and the fact they had James Reimer on a PTO. Oh, yeah. I love James Reimer, but did that work? No. I still love James Reimer as a player. A certain other guy doesn't. That just shows you how things are going. But either way. Okay, Matthias Michelli. If he's... Well, the weird part. I mean, Matthias Michelli's had his moments, but still. I mean, comparatively, yeah, true. He's had his moments, but still. When he doesn't play, it sucks. When he plays, he has his moments. But it's just not enough comparatively to losing Marner. And, they're trying to replace 80% of his points. And then, well, I guess you can't replace him in the aggregate. If I had to pick one of those two, it'd be Defense Force. Defense Force, I think Defense Force might have a chance to get out of this round, as I said. I don't know how much further, but if they do, Vancouver FC has no shot. If you're talking about Langley. If you're talking about the Whitecaps, well, of course the Whitecaps have a shot. Whether I want them to or not is another discussion entirely. 29th minute, 0-0. Two-time Champions Cup winners. Back in the 70s and 80s. Back in the prehistoric era. There's a difference. There's a difference. 30th minute. Rados are too relaxed. Yeah, I agree with that. But again, as I said before, this is CONCACAF to a T. The big team sleeps on the Central American team or the lower team and they don't play as well on the away leg, then they go home and clutch it up anyway. So it is what it is. Because they haven't. They've only had what? To be clear, there's only been 3 MLS American teams to win the thing. It's been mostly Mexican teams and then some Surinamese teams and Defense Force. But if we're just looking at the modern era, of course, Pumas. Saprissa beat Pumas that one time. I mean, I say the modern era starts in 2008. The first time it was called the Champions League. That's when I say the modern era starts. If you want to... The way I see it when it comes to CONCACAF, there's 4 eras. You have the pre-prehistoric era, which is where Defense Force won the Champions Cup. You have the prehistoric era, which is when MLS started up to 2008. You have the modern era from 2008 to current, and then you have an era inside the modern era of the contender era, where it's actually the contender competitive era. How about that? Where MLS teams actually have a shot. Since about 2018. I'd say the MLS Liga MX war era from 18 to now, inside the modern era. Whitecaps got 5-0 in the final. I can't say I loved it. No, I loved that. I love that. Because Toronto better be the Canadian team that wins the Champions Cup. I will frickin' pray on the downfall of every Canadian team up until 30 years from now. If it takes Toronto 30 fucking years. Now, if you call it a pirate, it'll only take one. But if you don't, then it'll take 30. Unless you wait 30 years and then, to call it a pirate. But God willing, the pirate will still be here. If you wait 30 years, well, that'll take 30 years. But if you do it now, it'll only take 1. Maybe 2. If you want me to be realistic. But that's not what I do. I don't do realistic. I do win. I don't do realistic. I do win. That's what I do. Well, 1, I don't control the money. 2, I really don't even want him. I'm the one who thinks he's a fraud. I'd rather play Malik Henry. I'd rather play DeAndre Kerr. I'd rather play Jules Vilsan. Now, if they told me, hey, this is a deal we already had done, which doesn't look like it, or if it's already in the pipe, I don't control the money. I don't control the money. Maybe I'd drop his name if I controlled everything. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that. I'll watch his highlights. But again, I mean, shot like Malik Henry. He would play a lot for sure. He's more of a winger, though. But, I mean, you could throw him forward. What a clearance. But either way. Vilsant, definitely a super sub for sure. Especially looking at, like, the good thing about, and I'll say this personally, the good thing about Sargent and Vilsant is you have two different profiles. If one works, great. But at some point, you're going to have to sub one or the other out. Like, Vilsant has, even if he's not a starter, he has the perfect profile to be a Toussaint Ricketts type striker. For example, you know, I think Vilsant could be a great super sub. If Sargent ain't really effective, if hopefully you get goals from guys like Malik Henry and get goals from guys like Corbianu and Mihailovic, but just to make sure, you know. How we doing, Connor? But if you still have to sub out your striker, you're like, hey, I want one more goal or we need a goal, Vilsant for Sargent. If one's not effective, then you use the other. Now, would I make that sub around the 60th minute if I realized? Would you call like 30 minutes super sub minutes? I don't know, but it depends. To me, super sub minutes is kind of like 15. It depends on how you look at it, but I don't see, like, if somebody comes on at the 60th minute, yeah, they're a sub. I could see, and it depends on how you quantify super sub. You know, it depends on how you quantify it, because for me, if it's somebody you trust, I mean, you could be like, hey, they're a super sub because they're a player that I trust. Fair enough. That, I can see it that way. I don't think I've ever heard of a super sub being, or substitution being called a super sub when they're on for 30 minutes. Seems to me like it's more of a Fergie time type thing than, like, oh, they trust this guy. He's like their sixth man. It's like trusting the player and you use them all the time off the bench if they're not starting. That's more of a six-man type thing in my book, which would be the 12th man. But, you know, you got my point. Not super sub, so to speak. Maybe it's just different parlance, but either way. Cross in. That's just waffling, though, huh? But, I mean, it doesn't really matter who, per se. But, I mean, I think the thing I'm most, in general, whether it's whoever the manager is for me, and I don't know if they look at it like this, but the thing I'm most hopeful for, in general, is you have, and of course DeAndre's still on the roster, so there's also that wrinkle. Like, if, of course, there's still the wrinkle of DeAndre Kerr is still on the Toronto FC roster. And I like DeAndre, but the wrinkle of that is you'd say DeAndre's more of the profile of a Sargent-ish. Yeah, I think so. Jamal Tiare is a damn good striker. Now, is he a starter in MLS? 39th minute 0-0. I don't. He's a good backup though. I think he'll do just fine there, especially behind Wessam. I think he'll do just fine. But again, back to my point. But then again, to my point, you look at guys like if you like the header. Like, if you like the way Sargent is playing against a certain team, against a certain back line, then you could, once he's tired, you could put in DeAndre Kerr. If you don't like the way he looks against that back line, you throw in the other profile and Vilsant. So I guess it ain't like a... Remember Kovacic for... Was it Kovacic for Barkley that Sarri got mean for or whatever? Like, that was like every time there was a sub within both. I remember, like, no, it wouldn't be like, oh, Sargent for Vilsant. Like, that wouldn't get memed, but, 5-3, you're crazy. I'll do my TFC season preview on the Friday before their first game. So the 20th. The week after the first legs, the first group of first legs, I think that's when I do my jersey ranking and my MLS prediction, table prediction. Then the next week's the 20th, 21st, the Friday before the first game, because of how squeezed up everything is. So it makes sense. I mean, their next game is within like 12 or 24 hours of when I do their season preview. So there you go. Which, I mean, you know what I think about them when I do the MLS predictions, but I'll dive into them per se. If you say you missed the first half of this game, you missed nothing. Xelaju's holding their own. Monterrey doesn't give a shit. And you got a 0-0 draw. Xelajú could have had a goal if they just shot. Well, go to the net. I won't scream. Oriano. The only reason Monterrey looks like they have a shot in hell of winning this game and not drawing is Oriano's on fire. He just hasn't taken a shot. He's just been crossing and making runs, which he's good at. We've known that for a while. But either one, you didn't miss nothing. I mean, isn't Sargent still in his prime, though? Oh, in their prime. Well, fair enough. But because they're good players, especially when they were signed. Like, Michael Bradley, for all things considered, he did set the culture in Toronto, and he did pretty well when we were good. Josie Altidore was amazing. I can't say, like, yeah, I had my problems with Bob Bradley, which has sort of bled into problems with Michael, and Michael held on for way too long, and he brought Bob over, and that was a total shit show, so I had my problems with both. But when I never liked Michael in the first place, like, I always thought he did a good job, but I never personally liked him. Like, it's like Oscar Piastri, so to speak, Oscar Piastri is a quiet motherfucker. Michael Bradley's a quiet mofo, right? It's hard to get there. My point being is are they good at what they do? Yes. Especially when they were good at what they did. Should you have problems with them? No, but there are people around them or their choices, really just Piastri, it's the people around him that make me hate him. Michael, I never liked him. Never really was a fan of him as in himself. I liked that he played for the club and he did well for the club, but he held on for way too long. And it feels like it was an inside job. Like Toronto sucking. Like it felt like it started off naturally, but then when Bob came in, it felt like it was an inside job that Michael was more egotistical than we thought. Like he either thought the game wasn't past his father and he wanted to play for his father, or he thought that with his father coaching, he would get in, and at one point, he thought that his father would be good enough to the point where he would be able to coach at some point for that club if everything went right. So it had to be an ego play. I'm sorry. And it went so fucking horribly that I hate both Bob and Michael. At the end of it, I hate both of them. Probably Bob more than Michael, but Michael's not blameless. He's not. And guess what? He's coaching another one of his clubs he played in MLS. Because the Red Bulls still want him, and he's from Jersey, and it's halftime 0-0. 0-0 medio tiempo. So, I mean, it is what it is, frankly. But, you know, like, Michael was a good player, sure. But now I'm just pissed off about how it ended. And I have more of a problem with Bob, but I still got my problems with Michael. And I never really liked Michael, like, as I'm a fan of Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady, but I'm also a Patriots fan. I like Drake May, but would I go to war for Drake May, or would I go to war for the Patriots? You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Would I go to war for Michael Bradley? Fuck no. Will I go to war for Toronto FC for the crest? You're fucking right I would. And when he wore the crest and when things were going well and when he fought for the club, we were on the same side. Then he fucking kamikazed everything. Whether it was all him or mostly his father or he was a little bit of a part of it, he fucking kamikazed everything. So he's against. We're on different sides now. He fucking kamikazed it all. Or they both fucking kamikazed it all, so we're both on different sides. So he went from being on my side because he wore the crest and put good in for the crest, even though I didn't really like him. Then he kamikazed everything. And his father helped him kamikaze everything, or he helped his father kamikaze everything. No matter how you put it, he fucking kamikazed the shit. So I'm against him. And I can't forgive him for kamikazing everything and his father for kamikazing everything. I can't forgive them. I go to war for the crest. I go to war for the TFC crest. That motherfucker kamikazed everything and his father kamikazed everything, so fuck him. I can't forgive him. I can't. And I never will. Especially Bob. Michael, we'll fucking see. I don't know. Probably not. So as of now, like it used to be like, yeah, I don't really like you, but you're doing good for my team. And now it's fuck you. And fuck your Skeletor looking father. But, you know, either way. But yes. Lucas Ocampos is good at running a lot, but no shots. Martin Paz going to Ajax as a goalkeeper right there. And now freaking, I mean, hey, good for him, you know? It feels like he kind of got pulled out of Dallas, but either way. How many Costa Rican clubs in Champions Cup this season? That would be, before we take a break, hold on. I said what I said. Where are we? Okay, fixtures. There we go. So we got Alajuelense's 1 for Tigres. Alajuelense, Cartagenas. Trying to see if I'm forgetting anybody. Yeah, it's just 2. It's Cartagenas and Alajuelense. That's it. 2. Alajuelense plays in the round of 16. Cartagenas plays 2 weeks from now. So, you know, like, I still, because here's my point. I still love Josie Altidore. I do. I still think he's an amazing. He did his job. Yeah, he fell off, but that's life. He got older. He got out of his prime. That's life. Understandable. He still might be a better striker than, like, half the strikers we've had since we got rid of him. But either way, Josie still puts on for Toronto. He still does. And I will always have love for Josie Altidore. I always will. Did it end badly there as well? Yeah, it did. But that's just age. That's just age, really. And the fact that I still think he could have been a better striker than half the strikers we had over the past since he left is a problem. You know, that's a problem. But, you know, age is a thing, you know. It's not like he did much better at Puebla or the Revs. It's not like he did much better there at the time. Like, he got old quick, and that's life. I can't get mad at that. As I said, Toronto's decline from where they were in, like, 2021 was natural. Like, I'm not saying it started off as a kamikaze mission. It started off as natural. That's life. When your players are older and you're trying to keep the magic going from a certain group, it's going to end badly. The fact we're as low as we are is because it was a kamikaze mission, but it didn't have to be this bad. In general, it did not have to be this bad. It did not have to end up this badly. But the Bradley kamikaze mission, the fucking MLSE not doing their damn job, and the fact that Herdman only played well until people found out he used drones, so you might as well wonder, did he use drones until he got found out, and then he had to stop and they started sucking? Huh, that's a wonder. Makes you wonder. Because Toronto did start off that Herdman season pretty well, but it makes you wonder. Was it Insigne falling out? Was it the fact that he was still using drones until it got found out? Then, you know, they had to stop using drones? And then he got told to F off? Then Dunfield was garbage, but that was the year before. But that team was garbage. But Dunfield had no idea what he was doing. Freaking Robin Fraser, they tried to have a different roster minus Oso, and they tried to get the good times back because Fraser was the assistant manager to Greg Vanney, but even then, Vanney's a fraud anyway. It's like MLSE doesn't know what the hell they're doing. As I said, there's only one person that has any idea of what needs to be done, and he's not getting paid. On this segment of Ryan's Theories. I might be a tinfoil hat, but I don't think that one's too off the rails. I'm sorry. I might have a tinfoil hat, but I don't think that one's off the rails. I think that one's pretty on the money. Like, I don't think, like, if 2021 was handled correctly, if it was handled with any care for the club, I don't think we'd be off in a bad position. But in general, there is just so much. They don't know what they're doing. Plus a kamikaze mission. Plus hired to cheat because he got Canada to the World Cup. And then he got found out for cheating and he stopped cheating. Is that partially because Canada's fans freaking got moral about it and basically shot him in the foot and Rick Westhead freaking grinded the axe? Do I blame Rick Westhead for that? Yeah. And let me tell you, if you don't know anything about Canadian journalism, if you hear the words Rick Westhead and he's writing an article and then they say your name, you're fucked. Like, you know Pablo Torre? Yeah, Rick Westhead's the Canadian Pablo Torre, except he writes instead of, has a podcast. Rick Westhead is the boogeyman. You don't want to hear that name. Especially if it's like, hey, you know what? I think he might have his crosshairs on you. Be like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Like, you don't want that. And I'm not saying the Hockey Canada stuff, that was absolutely. There's no complaints there. It's the freaking drone shit that I have a problem. Like, for better or for worse, he goes to uncover some shit. For better or for worse. I feel like, yeah, the Herdman shit was way overblown. But it came right after the Hockey Canada shit. And if it's from Westhead, your head's getting chopped off. It's a wonder Herdman's lasted the season. It's a wonder. But Toronto got worse from that moment on. So it makes you wonder. That might be the most out there part of the theory. But again, so either way, we got to take a short break. Take a short break. We'll be back for the stats of the half, and I'll leave my... I'll leave that all alone. But my point being is, if you sully my crest, if you fuck with my club, and you try to ruin my club, I have problems with you. I will go to war for that crest, to defend that crest. If that means I got to turn guns on somebody I thought was my ally, you got what point is. Don't be a Benedict Arnold. Because I ain't. With that being said, for example, figuratively, not literally, but you get my point. With that being said, we will take a short break now. With that being said, I'll see you later. I'll see you soon. Sit tight, be back. 0-0. 0-0. Well, we're back. We're back. It's on TUDNA, but I got on TUDNA. With that being said, we're back. I guess that rant made sure my halftime break would run over. Such is life. 46 minutes, 0-0. Not like we're missing anything. Stats at the half. 29% possession and 71. Wait, oh, okay, Monterrey. Why are they in orange? I know, whatever. 1 shot to 9, 0 shots on goal to 3, 115 accurate passes 75% to 338, 90%, 2 fouls to 4, 0 corners to 3. 1 shot to 9, 0 shots on target to 3, 154 passes to 383, 75% pass accuracy to 90, 12 throws to 8, 2 offside to 1, 0 yellow cards, 0 red cards, 0. Then again, making the stream on Rumble, for the next game, we will be a little bit over time. But it is what it is. So that's not like either way. They ain't missed none. Aceves came in apparently. Yep. Alonso Aceves. I guess what? Or at least that's what FOMOB has. Yep, he's in. Yeah, he came in. He's got a ranking. For who? They haven't really said. Hold on. Let's see. Commentary. John Medina. He's a center back then. Unless they're pushing somebody up. But either way. 48th minute. I wonder if this game is worse than last night's Forge Tigres. It depends on what you mean by that. Like, the play, yeah. Like, Forge Tigres was entertaining. Like, that was actually entertaining. Even if I wasn't a Forge fan, I thought that was a pretty good chess match draw. Like, there are shit 0-0 draws, and there are good ones. Like, there's two. It's either or, really. And for me, the Forge Tigres game was a good 0-0 draw. Even if I wasn't a Forge fan, I'd still think it was good. I'm not saying that because I'm biased, is my point. This is shit. This is just shit. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Or Monterrey doesn't. And Xelajú were like, well, we'll try to win the game, but if we get a draw, we get a draw. We're probably not winning in Mexico anyway. Now, if you talk about the look of it, Forge has their rep. Jamal Shed taking head-on collision with a big man to get a free throw. Man, Jamal Shed is so damn good, man. Dude's a dog. Either way, Raptors, point guard. There's a reason I don't want Ja Morant. We have Jamal Shed. We don't need Ja Morant. And I guess we also have Chris Paul. Not that 10 years ago, I would have been excited about that. Hell, 5 years ago, I'd been excited about Chris Paul. Now I'm just like, what the fuck? He may not even play for the Raptors, but for now, the Raptors have Chris Paul. About 5 years too late. If you talk about Jamal Shed, yeah, I agree. I guess it's true. Both Forge Tigres had close to goal plays. In this game, just 3 from Monterrey and nothing from Xelajú. Well, Xelajú could have shot 1 at the net, but that's like 4. But, yeah. But I'm also, if we're looking through the way it looks, like Xelajú, yeah, they made the Central American Cup final. But I wouldn't say Xelaju's better than Forge. Like, Forge has their rep. If you know about Forge and you know the history of the club, Yeah, they've played Champions Cup a couple of times, and they've played Mexican teams well. I wouldn't say very, very close, but at moments they've looked like they could get something done through their ties against Cruz Azul, Chivas, Monterrey, and Tigres. Like, they've had their moments. But if you look at Forge during the CONCACAF League era, they were getting better and better as the years went on, and they were knocking off teams that most people would be like, Forge are better than them? They should have beaten Motagua. They beat some teams. They beat Independiente once. They beat Antigua, their first CONCACAF tie, lost to Olympia, but that is what it is. But those CONCACAF League runs just got better and better, and they were beating teams where, like, in my opinion, Forge is just as good, if not better, than the real big Central American teams. Xelaju's not one of those, even if they made a final. But I would say, personally, Forge is better than Olympia, or not better, but Forge is on the level of Olympia, Alajuelense, Motagua, Herediano, Esteli. I think Forge is on that level, which to me means on their day, Forge can get a good result against one of the big teams and shock them, if not over two legs. It's got to go their way. There have to be bounces that go their way, but that's football for you. But if they're on the levels of, in my book, Alajuelense, Olympia, Esteli, Herediano, Motagua, that level, Comunicaciones, arguably, not exactly right now, but like the big names in Central America where you're like, they might have a chance here. You can't sleep on them. That's where I have Forge. So Forge drawing Tigres and probably should have beating them last night. I said there was a chance Forge could win that tie back in December when it was drawn. And Tigres have been shaky throughout their first couple of matches, and it showed last night. They have been bipolar at best. And it showed. And Forge had their moments. I didn't say they'd win, but I said they had a chance. I didn't say it'd be easy, but I said they had a chance. And Forge, for now, they still have that chance because they did not lose last night, and they could still win on away goals. And if some bounces go their way in Mexico, it's going to be tough, but they have a chance. And it's the closest they've been to winning a tie against a Mexican team of the ties they have got in the Champions League, the 4 ties they have gotten in the round of 16 and prelim round. So they are making slow advancements, and they are growing as a club. And funnily enough, their best chances come in a sort of retooling. They're still going to be one of the top teams in the CPL, no question. They could probably still win the league, the Shield itself. Do I think we're still going to see Forge in Champions Cup next year? Yes. In some way, shape, or form. For some reason, we will. I believe that. But whether it's winning the CPL Shield, the CPL North Star Cup, or winning the Can Champ, or being good enough because Vancouver does the same shit they did last year to qualify them for this year, okay. I can see it. And Forge is going to be good. They're going to be good. Even if it is a retooling year, they're still going to be very good. Retooling is not a bad word. But there are players that you would call Forge legends that have walked away. Chouanier walked away, for example. Borges and Becker are still there. But over the past couple of years, there have been a lot of Forge legends that you would call Forge legends walk away. And they've had to reload as they go. And now this seems to be the watershed reloading moment. Looking when they got Bertode and those new players they got, and they played very well. So it ain't going to be an ugly reload, but they had to reload, and they still have time because the CPL season itself doesn't start till April, so they still have their time to load up. even for that. But they got their bench might be a little bit weaker, but they got a good squad at their first 11. But, I don't think reload's a bad word to them. But, well, I mean, there's going to be goals in that game. So it's going to be better by default. 0-0. I don't think Vancouver's going to play that well, but hope Forge wins next week over Tigres would be amazing. I'm just hoping for a draw because guess what? Away goals. Win? Like win the tie? Sure. Win the game to win the tie? You're pushing it. Like win clean sheet or like win the tie 2-1 because they won the away game 2-1, you're pushing it. Win 1-0 while winning the tie, you're pushing it. Away goals, a draw with away goals. Okay, yeah, we could go. If you mean by that, yeah, I hope so too. Win the game and win the tie, like 1-0, 2-1. Yeah, no, you're pushing it. No, you're pushing it. Like I hope they do too, but I'm being realistic. I have a lot of hope, but I'm being realistic because if I don't be realistic, I'm going to hurt myself. My heart. I mean, not figuratively, not literally. I mean, my heart will break. If I get, that was a bad choice of words. My heart will be hurt because it will break. Is what I mean. I'm fine. I had a bad choice of words there. Like, if I hope too much for Forge, I'm like, you know what? If they play like they did last week, they could win in Mexico. If I start saying shit like that, I'm going to set myself up for disappointment. So I'm trying to be a little bit realistic here. As I said, I don't do realistic, but I'm not the coach. So I have a lot of respect for Bobby Smirniotis, but, I'm trying to be realistic. It's not like the Patriots could break my heart if they lose the Super Bowl. I mean, with the way their season went. Like, I could be mad. But if they lose, it'd be like, hey, house money. They got there and they played well and the Seahawks just were better. Like, if that's what happens, I don't think I'll have a heartbreak. And if they get fucked, I'll just be angry. So, if they get their shit rocked, be like, yeah, we probably be like, hey, at least they made it. But, well, I guess I would also be the Seahawks deserved it. Headed away out for a goal. Nope, corner. No, it is a goal kick. Kwame Awua from NYCFC is a Forge legend or hero. He's both. Roberto De La Rosa's on for Rojas. Another sub for Monterrey. Power play Habs after the break. Matheson nearly got one there on Hellebuck. Jesus Corona. It's always good to have a backup. Same with Rumble. And I think I can only stream to 3 sites at once. So that's why Steak is the odd one out. Or they're streaming Kick. That's why that one's the odd one out. I can only stream to 3 destinations. So, but it's always good to have a backup, just in case shit goes south somewhere. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody will give me a contract to be exclusive one day. Preferably YouTube, but that probably won't happen. But either way, it's always good to have multiple streams or multiple places to stream because you don't know when shit's going to go south. Especially with YouTube and who knows, it could. Especially with this AI shit. This AI scanning shit. They almost got freaking KTO once. Almost got Matt B. Great kicked out of the damn partner program. So, you know, ball crossed in. Knock on wood. Nothing like that happens to me. Well, yeah, but also Pumas will take a big shit storm for losing to San Diego. Adam 22 is a cuck. And he's a piece of shit. Like, no jumper V2 on Reddit or whatever. I don't know if Adam 22 is trying to like go through a humiliation ritual so he doesn't get caught up in the shit he did. Has done. Dude's a cuck, though. Dude let his... And you could tell that maybe it's not an act, because, I mean, either he's a rage baiter or he just doesn't know how to fight, because, I mean, I watched the Chiseled Adonis video about the Adam 22 Jason Love fight. I didn't watch the fight itself, but, you know, Chiseled Adonis made a video about it, the NFL highlight commentary guy. Comedian, does wrestling too. Either way, we are fans of the Chiseled Adonis on this channel. We are. Hell, we stole some of his jokes at times. Either way, still do. Out of beats. That's just a vocal stem at this point. Either way, Adam 22, he got his ass beat. He got his ass beat. And I don't know if he took the dive or Jason Love just beat his ass, but either or. Dude didn't even throw a punch. You made Jason Love look like Ilia Topuria and John Jones combined. And Floyd Mayweather. Well, okay, that's Mike Tyson. How about that? Yep. Point is, Adam 22, he deserves all the humiliation in the world. We don't complain. Shot blocked away. The Detroit Tigers got Framber Valdez. Shit. Well, at least it wasn't the Orioles. 64th minute. I'm just talking about as a fighter. Yeah, Floyd is not... Floyd lost his aura. Let's just put it like that, if he had any. Then again, well, when Floyd fought McGregor, guess I rooted for McGregor. So again, that was back in what, 2017? Yeah, Floyd versus McGregor. I rooted for Conor, and I still would today if they fought each other again. I mean, in comparison to them both, Floyd would never be the man Ali was. I agree with that. Hell, I don't even think Floyd was half the fighter Ali was. But the man, you're damn right. I agree with that. Ali was Muhammad Ali was a very good man. Amazing fighter, also a very good man. No, he left. He left Monterrey. He left. So, I agree with that. Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Like, definitely the GOAT person who was a boxer for sure. I don't know if I'd say he's the GOAT boxer. It might be Tyson. But I don't. Possible if the Leafs make the playoffs as a wild card. Like if the Leafs make the playoffs, yeah, we probably could. I don't know if the Leafs are gonna make the playoffs though. I'll say 30% chance. But if the Leafs play the Islanders, unless the Leafs are really hot, y'all probably would win. But if the Leafs get in, they'd be really hot. So I don't know if you want that. Unless it goes to 7, then you'll win anyway. Yeah, I want Ramos to win that fight. Give me Sergio Ramos. He might go pull an Ali or a Tyson and bite his ear off. But you know what? It is what it is. 0-0. He is. He's awesome. Sadly enough, we still need another center. But rolls it forward. Here's a shot. Monterrey. Cross blocked. Out of boots for a corner. Cross in. Header cleared. What a awful. Yeah, this is. As long as you don't lose, is it that awful? It's freaking CONCACAF. This is par for the course. It just looks worse because, well, you're not Pumas, actually, but at least America won their game on the road. And Tigres drew, which should have been a loss. Like, is it that bad? Like, the only team so far out of Liga MX who's won their away match was America. Pumas shit all over themselves. Tigres should have lost to Forge. Cruz Azul were about, of course, they still play, and they're probably going to win, but they should be up 5-0 at least, no excuse. I'm saying it's tough to play in Central America. Whether you're a Mexican team or MLS team, I don't know what the hell it is, but this is a normal trope. Like, this is normal. Like, whether you're mad or not, the MLS Liga MX teams going away in the first leg of the Champions Cup, whether it's the round of 16 or prelim round now, if they're going anywhere but Mexico or the USA, Pumas did go to the USA and they got bodied. But either way, when you play a Central American team, they're not going to be, they don't look like they want to play sharp. So it is what it is, frankly, but and it's both leagues. It's not just Mexico, it's both leagues. MLS at least could be like, hey, you know what? They're in preseason. The first tie is they're in a preseason form. It is what it is. Liga MX, they still have like 4. Exactly. That also helps. Yep, I agree. It's sad to see what's happened or what's happening to Savannah Guthrie's mother. It's sad. And I pray they find her, and I pray they find her safely. It's even if you don't like the mainstream news, even if you don't like what the mainstream news does, they still have families and they still are people, and you don't want anybody to have to go through a situation like that. And Anthony Martial is on and Fidel Ambriz are on from Monterrey, and I do believe that from what I've seen of today that Savannah Guthrie is a very good person, so you wouldn't wish that. Or at least she seems like a very good, bright person, so you don't want to see that happen. So Anthony Martial goal incoming. Well, let's see. Man, I can't believe he's playing in Mexico. It's weird, man. I feel like it was just yesterday. Anthony Martial was a big Man United next superstar, and now he's playing in Mexico. It was like 8 years ago, man. I know. When Martial was the next big thing, I was in high school. I know. And now he's playing in Mexico. Not even a starter player. Well, they said they were rotating the team tonight, but I mean, for what they spent for him, you think he would start anyway? Playing forward, 75th minute. 15 more minutes to go. Crossed in and missed. I agree. So Monterrey's used all 5 of their subs. Xelajú has 1 more in 1 window. Playing forward. Saved. Playing forward. Header. Cleared away. Out of boots for a throw-in. Yeah. Which is crazy because Monterrey has the power to beat the shit out of these guys. But even with a rotated team, they still could have. But now they got their big guys on. They're still struggling. And yeah, they're going to go back to BBVA next week and beat the ever-loving shit out of them. We know that. But or at least very likely they beat them like a drum. But they still would win the tie no matter what. There's a low chance that, like, even with Forge, I'm like, hey, they have a chance, but it's a low chance. Xelajú, maybe a little bit higher than Xelajú and Monterrey. But I don't know how much by little higher, but, you know, either way. '78th minute. Canales didn't make the trip. Also, no Oliver Torres, but Xelajú ain't even defending great. As I said, they could have beat him like a drum already, and they haven't done that. And I mean, the people they put on, like, no, they're not Canales or Torres, but they got De La Rosa, solid player that normally plays for him, Tecatito, Fidel Ambris, Martial. They still have Iker Fimbres on. I mean, yeah, you would assume they could still, with the guys on they have, they definitely could beat them like a drum. So, with the way Xelaju's defending, I would agree, but header, shot wide, out of boots, goal kick. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long the out of boots thing lasts. I don't know. It's definitely a vocal stim now, so we'll see how long it lasts. Could last a month or two, could last the whole season, could last longer. God only knows. God only knows. It was a horrible header, yeah. '80th minute. Xelajú playing forward. They have a run. Shot save by Melee. 82 minutes. Free kick for Monterrey. Cleared away from Xelajú. Maybe. Possible. I don't have a clue about that. It's possible. That is definitely a possible move. Playing forward, Xelajú. Cross in, header, goal, goal! Oh my God! Gol de Xelajú! 1-0. Uno a cero de Xelajú. Escobar. Joffrey Escobar. The goal. Joffrey Escobar with a goal. 83rd minute. Izzy onside. Ball crossed in, and he's right there. Header. And it gets past Mele. Does he have it? Does it go off his head? Oh, it might have. Hold on. Did that? It went off his knee. Okay, I was like, did that hit his hand? 83rd minute, 1-0. 1-0 esta noche. Header knee. Yeah, I was like, his arm was like right there. So I was like, huh. He was onside, though. It's going to count. What a play by Xelajú against the run of play, and they have the lead on Monterrey. Joffrey Escobar. The Central American runners-up lead on Monterrey. Phil Deneau seals it 5-1. It didn't hit his hand, if that's what they're looking at. Xelajú Monterrey might get a stay of execution here. It went off his knee, not his hand. He didn't look offside to me. It's got to be the knee, like from the head to the knee, like if there was a handball in that position. I mean, as you saw, I wasn't sure until I saw one of the angles, but in the end, I don't think it's offside. It was the knee. Yep, they were looking at the knee. It's a goal. It is a goal. 1-0 Xelajú 1-0. They were looking at the knee because like the angle made it look like it was a handball for a while until there was like an angle that showed the knee. So 86th minute. So it's onside. 1-0 or no handball. Cross in, header. So Monterrey now has to come back at home unless they get an away goal draw, which I think that's too good for them at this point. Xelajú keeps it in boots. In boots. And that's out of boots for a throw-in. 87th minute. Seeing if there's a penalty shout here. Player down hurt. Could there be a penalty for Monterrey here? Is this game going to go off the rails? Yep. My take, here's my take on the fouls. Everybody that's famous, rich, elite, are governmental leaders on both sides. They're all pieces of shit. They're all scumbags. And the fact they're all just going to basically get away with this, besides just people knowing, is sad. I feel like it's time for a French Revolution, so to speak. That's the only way things will change. Is if people start acting like it's the French Revolution. If you catch my drift. Basically, fuck them all, let them burn. Or, well, whatever. So there's my take. Never have, never will. Thank the Lord. Never have, never will. Thank the Lord. Maybe it's a good thing I was never on all that. Or anything like that. Either way. 90th minute. If I'm famous, I just want to watch football matches, draw up football match plans, maybe eat some good steaks and have a damn farm. Whether that's a full-on like farm or it's just like a farm full of just a partially 4 minutes of stoppage time, partially foster dogs, partially my dogs, farm full of dogs, either or. Of course, probably a family compound type of farm as well, either one. But I don't want. Point is, if I'm ever rich/famous, I don't want much. I don't want much. I mean, I can go to the city, go to a mall, or go, eat a good steak, but I could grill one just as well. I just want football. Shot goal! Monterrey scores! 1-1. Point is, if I'm ever rich, I ain't going to be a highfalutin son of a bitch. I'm still going to be a redneck. I just may have a lot of money. There's a difference. Tecatito scores for Monterrey. They get the away goal. They avert disaster. Tecatito scores. That was a really good shot, too. No matter where I am. Redneck with... As soon as I said that. Well, I mean, that was a surprise. 91st minute. 90 plus 1 for Tecatito. And that was a golazo. 1-1, 1-1. Finally accurate shot. It was bound to happen. At least you have the away goals. 90 plus 2 for Tecatito. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm reviewing the next game. With that being said, yeah. I mean, Forge can. I give them like a 20% chance, which is pretty good. Solo rock climbing, off-roading the coolest trucks. That does sound pretty fun, too. I don't disagree with that. But solo rock climbing goes along with Sasuke training. Because I would love to go to Japan and be on Sasuke. The actual Sasuke. The obstacle course show. Not the American version. They're a bunch of clout-chasing motherfuckers I have no respect for unless they've been to the actual Midoriyama. But the Japanese version. Because I know what Sasuke means. I know what it's about. I'm not there to clout chase. I'm there to give the competition the respect it deserves. Slash also Viking, as I said. Slash Viking and Bonsuke and Spaldon and all those. But Sasuke, it's that, I mean, you kind of have to rock climb to train for Sasuke. So, in ways, also go to Sasuke gyms, or build one yourself, which I guess having a farm would also help with that. Like, get some room and just build some Sasuke obstacles there, you know. But yeah, I guess you could do that too. But yeah, if y'all know Sasuke, yeah, I definitely want to be on Sasuke one day, and hopefully good enough to just be there every year. 94th minute, and it's full time. 1-1, 1-1. 1-1, that's the old chip. We'll do that after. But with that being said, we'll take a short break. I'll set up the next stream on Rumble. We'll be live for Vancouver versus Cruz Azul. No jersey change, which that's good news, but I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I will see you later. I'm running. I'm out. Peace. Give me a couple of minutes. I'll be back. 1-1, 1-1. Peace.